Hi, it's Imogen Lamport from Inside Out Style, coming to answer your colour and style question. My biggest challenge would be the change in my body and getting older. I haven't figured out how to dress my 30 pounds heavier menopausal body. I hate clothes shopping, and when I do buy something, once I get home, I usually hate it. I used to wear tight, cute, flirty clothes. Now I'm baggy jeans and loose t-shirts. This can be really hard when our body changes so much and what we used to wear does not work anymore. And plus, what we see in the mirror is not who we are mentally inside our heads. It can be really hard and really disheartening. And you are not alone, Christine. There are many women who, write to me with very similar sorts of questions. So, one of the things is to know what works for your body today. So accepting your new body rather than, kind of buying clothes for your old body, that even if they're in larger sizes, they may not suit the shape. So knowing that that shape has changed and therefore understanding, getting the style education to understand what suits the body you have today. So of course I've got my body shape calculator, and you can go in and get your body shape Bible for the new version of you. And then it's starting to apply those principles to when you're looking for clothes rather than just going big bag t-shirts and jeans. Like, that's not making you feel good. So we need to steer away from them and go, well, what does work? How do I flatter this new body? How do I bring out its best? So then it's thinking about, the more you know with your style. So what's your personality? What kind of patterns do you like? What kinds of prints? What kind of clothes? What kind of colors? All those things really matter as well to understanding how to put together the new style. Because I think, either you buy for the old body and that really doesn't work for the new body and you get home and you're disappointed, or you just end up in the big and baggy because you just don't know where to start. So I'd say the first thing is get your new guidelines for the body you have now. Start experimenting with what you think works better than, what works and what doesn't. This is where outfit photos are so useful to take. So start experimenting and seeing, because when we can get an outfit photo, we get a more objective look, and it really makes it easier for us to then actually figure out what's working versus what's not working. It's different from how we see ourselves in the mirror. So I would recommend some outfit photos. But do some experimentation. Try some different different ways of putting things together. Try some new guidelines, see how they work, see which work best for you. Because remember, body shape guidelines are still very general and you are a unique individual. So you always have to layer, your uniqueness over the top of these. It's the lens which we look at them through. Some will work, some won't work. And then it's finding those clothes. I think that when we have some expectation that we're going to buy the miracle garment that's going to make everything be amazing and make us look, 30 pounds slimmer, A, we're a little bit deluded, but B, it's very unlikely that that's going to happen. So sometimes it's managing those expectations when we go shopping and expecting that nothing's going to be great. I think one of the biggest expectations we have is that we can go shopping and we'll always be able to find things, and that everything will be fabulous and everything's made to fit us. It's not. If we can understand that clothing manufacturers are not making clothes to make us look good, I know that's a bit of a shocking thought, but they're not. So having an expectation that when you go out shopping, you should be finding things is also, in some ways, a little bit deluded. Think of shopping as more like when we're shopping for clothes, don't have any expectations. Lower your expectations way down, and you'll actually have a better time of it. If you go out expecting to find nothing, then when you do find something, you are less disappointed. And you might even be slightly delighted, versus if you go expecting to find a whole lot of stuff and you find nothing, you're just going to be disappointed and it's going to be depressing. So I always think that it's magical if I find something, but most of the time I don't expect to find anything. And that's because I know they're not making clothes to fit me, my shape, my colouring, all those sorts of things. So if it just happens to be out there, that's great. Also too is they're trying to fit as many bodies into the clothes. So often they make big armholes and things like that, so we can just all get it over our body. Doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be flattering. Plus we have to expect to have alterations because they are not making for your specific shape. So it is also knowing that, especially the more outside the, standard, whatever is the body they have cut those patterns from. So the more you are, different from that, more you are different sizes, different heights, different proportions, different body shapes, the less well it's going to fit. So that is, something to be aware of as well. So I do think that, figuring out what you are today, learning what suits that shape today is trying some things out, you know, trying a column of color. That's a really great way to often feel like you look slimmer than you are. It's one of my favorite ways. And so many people have told me that it's such a great tool. That alone can make a difference. Understanding where to end your hems so you're not putting them on wider points, where to put your horizontals, where to put your verticals, and where to put your detail. These little things can make a huge difference and the kind of silhouette that really works for you. So go ahead, grab those bits, get that little bit more of an education, and then start experimenting. But also understand that, yeah, shops are not making you clothes for you personally, and so don't necessarily expect to find anything. And of course, clothing, fashions change so fast. Just because there's nothing out in the stores for you this week doesn't mean there's not something next week. And that's always something. I just go, just because there's nothing now doesn't mean there'll always be nothing. It's better to be empowered and say no than buy something and be disappointed and be unhappy when you go home.